AA, see you in church. Hi, I'm Manuel. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, leave a message, put the little hand up. I always put the hand up right away because I always have the tendency to forget. That's me. That's the way I've become. I forget a lot of stuff. And it's not because of aluminum. Yeah, a lot of people say that. Aluminum, people that get that problem have aluminum in their brain when they die. They find they have aluminum in there, and I'm like, okay, well, if they died from normal reasons, why are you inside someone's brain to start? But anyway, that's beside the point. This day, I wanted to talk about movies, scary movies, to be exact. I want to know what do you think. I'm a horror movie fan. I love me some horror movies. But what I'm finding nowadays are just comical movies. I know you guys think they're scary, but to me, they're comical. Um, like, for instance, okay, the movies I love are the original genres. Even though they continue to make movies, they're good. But the remakes are just so awful. And I know the reason. They won't know the reason, but I know the reason. I'm sorry, but when I go to see a scary movie, I go to get scared. That's all. 100% scared. Carrie, scary movie. They say they made another version. I don't know. I didn't see that one. There's the second one, Carrie 2. That one was okay. The original one was really scary, where she kills everybody. The school ends up on fire, and it's just crazy. It's a good movie, especially at the ending, where she goes over and she puts the flowers next down to the for sale sign because that's where Carrie supposedly died. And then when the hand grabs her, and when we saw it in a drive-in theater the first time. My brother goes, "Oh my god!" And we jumped. I mean, literally, you saw the car everywhere was moving. It was hilarious. It was scary, but was hilarious because of all people, my brother is the kind of person that doesn't get scared usually. And when he said that, we all just jumped up in that car. We just were boom, boom, boom. It was hilarious. And we all started laughing. And Charlie just like, oh, we were like, oh, that was good. And then my brother, when he was little, they did the birds. And I love that movie. And the reason I love that movie is because they don't go out of their way to scare you. They're not putting music doo 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 doo. None of that. If you watch the movie, all it is the birds. It's scary. You sit there and there's no sound effects to try to scare you. They're not there putting little doo 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 doots or anything. You're just watching the movie. There's a moment where there's a little bit of music, but that's because the kids are singing. The kids are getting ready to go to the playground, and she's sitting there smoking her cigarette, but then the playground becomes infested with birds. So she runs in and stops them. And everybody, it's an interesting movie. It's exciting. You're scared because you know what's going to happen. You're sure you know what's going to happen. And you just watch and wait. And when is it going to happen? And how is it going to happen? What kind of birds are going to be attacking? You don't know. And that's the thing that makes it so much fun and scary and everything. They say my brother was scared for birds for quite a while, and he saw it in the movie theaters way back. And I remember going and seeing a movie called The Pit and the Pendulum, The House That Screamed. All these movies, they were scary. And oh, but here's one movie. I never found it scary. I found it really boring, but everybody was like, "Oh, it was so scary." And I'm like, "No, it was." But you have to remember, I live in a desert. There's no water here. And everybody was so scared of the water. Don't go into the water. And I'm like, "What water?" Swimming pool? Where the hell is a shark going to come out of there? You know the movie Jaws. I mean, it's an interesting movie. I give you that. But it was not scary to me. Why? Because I actually don't live by water. And then they put out a movie way back. It was called Piranha, something like that, and it was a good movie. It was scary. Now that was a small fish that you know could be in your neighbor's area because somebody brings something with them. They go over and they populate, and then they become part of the environment. But you don't know that. Now that was interesting. Then they did what was that? Night of the Living Dead. That was scary. Now the second one was Dawn of the Dead. That was more interesting than anything because you think what you would do, and that's what I always said. If it was me, I would go into a mall, put all the walls up, lock them, then kill all the dead in there. And in this place, they had, well, electricity was still coming. So as long as electricity was coming, they didn't really have much problem. Okay. But the reality is, at the same time, they had an ice rink. And it was huge. So they just went and threw the dead there and left the thing staying cold. That was common sense. That's the way I saw it, though. That's exactly what I would have done. They went and killed all of them inside, and, they were dead. But for me, I would have seen they had a place there that had bullets, okay, and guns. I would have gone and seen if they had a bullet maker, and I would have made as many bullets as I could, let in a few of the dead, killed them, then let in a couple of more dead, killed them, let in until, all of the ones around you would be gone. And when they would appear again, you would kill some more. And then them going up and down in that stupid helicopter. I understood they needed a train to learn to fly. Everybody did, just in case. But the reality of the whole situation was you're bringing attention to yourself. That's just stupid. But anyway, that's my point. In those, I enjoyed those. Now, the remake, it was okay, to be honest. I didn't mind that one. I did sort of enjoy that. Then they made the king of all movies, Halloween. Oh my God, I loved me some Halloween. My mom loved Halloween. My brothers loved Halloween. So, um, this is going to be before your time, but there were beta tapes. We had Halloween in beta. We had Halloween in VHS. We had Halloween in DVDs. And now I have Halloween in iTunes. Loved the movie. Awesome movie. Halloween 1 and 2, the best movies ever made. And then H2O. For some reason, those three movies were made in the same genre. They didn't go out and try to expand the genre, they stayed there in that one little road. Loved it. Then you go and you have Halloween 3, isn't even part of the storyline. Halloween 4 is now they're trying to explain, and that's the way those genres are supposed to be. On number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, they explain what made the character. You don't do it during the first, you don't do it during the second. You do it during those times. And wonderful movies. Then they go back to the original, not explaining nothing, and they make H2O. Awesome. Halloween H2O, the best. Bring back Jamie Lee Curtis. But rumor had it that she was killed, and her daughter is free. What's left? But in H2O, she has a son. The son disappears because they re-bring her back recently. Well, I like the movie where she supposedly got killed, and then she didn't. They bring her back. And she's there, has this fortress, and her daughter is a stupid ass. And it's a great movie. Stayed to the original genre, the way the genre is supposed to run. That's why it was another good movie. They claim they're going to make another one. But what are they going to do? Bring back the son? If they are, that would be awesome too. Why? Because we remember him from H2O. Now, here's one that a lot of people don't know because they kept changing its name. Its original name was Black Christmas. Then, awesome. A whole bunch of stars. Then they weren't stars. But afterwards, you can just go and count, and you'd see all these people. They became stars afterwards. Margot Kidder, you have so many people in there. She did the Superman sagas, and then she wanted more money, and they fired her and they put someone else, and they sort of ruined the saga. Then you got all these great characters. Then they did a remake in it. But see, this is the only movie, the remake, which they had taken their name away, and from Black Christmas they made it Silent Night, Holy Night. Then they returned its original name to Black Christmas, and that was scary. It was a good movie, and then they did a remake. The remake does sort of explain the storyline a little bit, but to be honest, they didn't force it. So the movie still stayed good. Then you move on to um, Freddy Krueger. Um, you move on to all the originals. You got, well, the Christmas joke one, Gremlins. That was funny. You got Leprechaun, the originals. You got Trolls. That was good. You got um, Friday the 13th. Did I already say Freddy Krueger? Um, you got. What's the other one? There's another one. I don't remember. Anyway, you got all these other ones, that they never really try to make um, remakes of them. But then they tried to make Halloween again, and it was a joke. You got the character, they started explaining everything within the first movie. That made it snoring and boring. Then their mistake was when they tried to kill the guy in the truck. No, it was a truck, it was a van. He's trying to get into the back of the van. Um, Jason grabs him and he. Is it Jason? I think so. Anyway, he grabs him and he starts shaking him. And I'm like, why is he shaking him? Well, it looks more like he's having sex with him. Gay sex. Guys are. And I'm like, oh my God, he's having sex with him. He's molesting him. And everybody just in the theater starts to laugh because so far it's been boring. Um, they stab, you got blood, blood, blood. Blood doesn't scare me. It was boring. I was like, oh my goodness. And then they did that, and that became a lot of humor, and everybody's laughing. And it was the funniest and the best part of the whole movie because the rest of it was not scary. I was like, oh my goodness, these aren't scary. And you have, oh, here's one you might not remember, and it's called Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That one was done by a lot of kids. I think they were college students. They got a small amount of money. They rented the equipment or whatever. They made up this character. They went and they did all this killing and everything, pretend, and sold it and made tons and tons of money because they were under, I think they, what was it, they had like $500 or so, and they used that to make the movie. And then they made a remake of it which costed them thousands of dollars, almost, maybe almost a million, and was a big flop. See, that's the thing I don't get. Leave the original alone. Clean it up. Make it more enjoyable. Put it more better sound. I understand that. But do a remake and you always just make them resuck. One of my favorite Christmas movies, um, what's that called? That Christmas one that had Natalie Woods. They've remade it 3 times, and each time they remade it, it loses something. The original one was the best with Natalie Woods as a little girl. The second one was okay. The last one was crap, just a pile of crap. I saw it. It was like stupid. I guess maybe because I don't find the little girl attractive. She wasn't really cute to me. She was sort of ugly. And that might have been the reason. I don't know. I didn't like it. But like I'm saying, every time they remake, they just ruin it. It's just, I don't know. They try to put a twist, and the twist is always lame. I just don't get it. Like, there's so many remakes out there, and there's just very few that have been able to make the remake better. Not many. Um, I loved The Mist. And then they made that TV show, The Mist. That was horrible. To this day, I have never been able to see the whole series, The Mist, because I bought the first series, and it was so awful. I just could not continue. I was like, no, this is awful. And I have not been able to go back and watch the rest that I didn't see. Um, Now they're doing the Dark Crystal. That wasn't scary, but it was fun. The original movie, the Dark Crystal, the TV show. It's no. Even the comedy thing, that one, the Scream, scary movie or whatever you want to call it, it was funny. I'm sorry that it just doesn't go anywhere. The one with Jamie Lee Curtis, I did like that because they didn't leave her as a frail little girl. She goes into there, she starts running the school, and then she beats the living daylights out of the three that try to beat her up. I thought it was so funny. I was like, oh my gosh. And it was hilarious. She kicks their asses. Then she goes and they, since the school got closed, she went and she became the head of a hospital. And they have a thing there trying to kill again. And she goes over and she beats the living daylights out of them. Love it. It was good. I don't like movies where the person is frail, like The Fog. Oh my god, the Fog was awesome. Then they remade it. Jamie Lee Curtis was in the original one. The remake was boring. Oh my goodness, I even have the remake. It's I can sit through that one, but that's about it. I just don't get it. I want you people to stop remaking, because you're not making them better. You're ruining the storylines. You want to explain what's going on, but we don't need that. You do that on Halloween number 4, Halloween number 5. If you're doing extra episodes, now you start to explain them. But during the first, you're supposed to be there going, why are they killing? Why are they killing? And then you say, well, maybe in the second one. And in the second one, sometimes they release a little bit. So then when you get the third one, you get the big hunk. And it goes on and on from there. But get a clue. It doesn't work when you do it at the beginning. I don't need it at the beginning. I just want to be scared. And that's the thing. That's what made it so fun. It's the same thing where a lot of people go in, like where Pinhead is at, and they go into the cube and all that kind of stuff. The Those movies were scary because they don't really explain it during the first movie. They explain it during the second and the third. We first have to get you interested in the storyline, then explain the storyline later. And that's the thing. They don't get it. And that's why those movies aren't that spooky. I don't watch a lot of spooky movies nowadays that are released because they're not usually spooky. They're more funny. We sit down and we laugh. It's like what's her name's movie? It um Mistress of the Dark. Love her completely, Elvira. But she wasn't meant to scare people. She was meant to be funny. And she is. Hint, hint, hint. But the reality is, that's the point. You guys are trying to be scary, but you guys don't know how. Write your own storylines. Then you'll know how, okay? Leave the old ones alone. I've had so many friends go and say, Manuel, that was so scary. And then I bring them home with me and I show them the originals. And they're like, that wasn't scary. This is fucking scary. I'm going to have nightmares. How dare you show me these movies? I did that with Halloween. I lent them to my friend. He saw the other one, was telling me how scary that other one. I was like, that wasn't scary. It was funny. It was stupid. And then I showed him the real Halloweens, and he was like, oh my God, he goes, I had nightmares. I'm probably going to have nightmares for days. I mean, but that's what it was supposed to be. Because it was supposed to be just scary. But anyway, what do you think? Subscribe to my channel. Put the hand up. Leave me a message. Tell me, what do you think? How do you feel about all this? You know? Instead of remakes, make a new show. Get a thought. I could write about 30 real scary movies. And these things that they're remaking, they're just taking the scary out of the scare. But anyway, leave me a message and leave me what you think you would like to talk about. I'd like to know. And tell me what you think. Do you feel the same way as I do? Or do you think are you really getting scared with this new crap they're putting out? Because I don't find them scary. I find them more funny. But anyway, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Put the hand up. Leave a message. Even if it's just saying hi. I like your conversations. And remember, AA, see you in church.